Rockers, I'm Al Ditton. I'm with Underground Noise Webzine. This is Webisode number 104. I encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing Colby Rodgers from a slew of mini bands. One to name is Astyanax. What's up, Colby?
Hey guys, glad to be on.
I'm happy to have you here, sir. Welcome to my show.
Thank you. Glad to be on and to discuss whatever you want to discuss. Like you said, I'm in I'm in a slew of bands, but Astyanax that's my baby. That's my brainchild there.
That's awesome. Well, the first question I would like to ask you, Colby, is how do you make time for all these bands that you're in?
Fair question. I get it a lot. um, well, so interesting thing about me, as a metal musician, my day job is a teacher. I'm a high school English teacher. And the thing is, that's just really, um, it's a really compatible job with being a musician. I'm off at 3 o'clock every day. I'm off on weekends. I get all these, paid vacations like Thanksgiving break and winter break and summer break and all that. So it leaves me a lot of time for activities, musical activities, and and then it's just careful scheduling. I can't practice with 7 bands every week. I just can't. So some of these bands have to trust me to do my homework, and practice like bi-monthly or sometimes even once a month. It just depends on if like maybe a show is coming up or something. So it's very careful coordinating and scheduling and stuff like that.
That's really cool. What band would you say you spend the most time with?
Probably my first band, like I said a second ago, my brainchild is Astyanax. I've been in that since 2010, so going strong on 13 years here. Survived through so many um, member changes and hiatuses and things like that. And finally gotten to the point where we're like playing festivals like Chicago Domination Fest, etc. But yeah, I make sure to practice once a week at least with that band, usually on Thursdays, and I'm just always pouring time into planning with that band and promoting, and just that band's always at the forefront of my mind. Close second would be my black metal band, Blasphemous Goat Vomit. We usually practice once a week there, and we're about to tour in Mexico this summer, and things have been going well for that band as well. So, and what those bands have in common is, along with my dear friend Henry Willis, they were like our childhood dream bands. We wanted to be the black metal band, we wanted to be the death metal band, and a long time ago, and those dreams have slowly kind of come to fruition.
That's really cool. I was watching your playthrough for a Stillborn Goddess a few days ago. How did you
Yeah.
guys go about making that video? Was that done here on Zoom?
Let's see. So that's the guitar and bass playthrough. I think what happened is my bassist just kind of did it on his own. He filmed himself. He has a GoPro, so he just filmed himself playing along to the track. And then my two guitarists went to a guitarist in a different band. My guitarist in Asylum, he does a lot of like video work and editing and graphic design stuff. So he filmed those two guitarists playing along to the track there, and then the graphic design guy, he edited all the cool stuff to make all the video angles and all that, and then boom, we submitted it to Slam Worldwide.
Yeah, you guys did a phenomenal job with that. I was really blown away by that. I'm like, wow, this song really, really attacks the head and just makes you go crazy.
Yeah, I love that song. It's we're back when we first started in 2010, we had a song called Stillborn Goddess that sounded nothing like that. It was like almost, I don't know, metalcore, I guess, back then. but I always loved that title. So fast forward 12 years or whatever, we kept the title, and Marco, my new guitarist, the one with the big old fro, he wrote the new, like, I guess it's almost blackened death metal song that is Stillborn Goddess. And yeah, it's fast, but it also has groove, and it has like melodic evil parts. I love that song.
Yeah, it's definitely in your face, and it just knows how to grab you.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah,
stay right there, kind of like a tarantula.
yeah, that's one we usually have in our set live, because like you said, it grabs you.
It really does. That helps you move around a little bit. And if it's not making you move on the pit floor, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's what I want to look out there and see, man. I want to see that circle pit going, and that song has that one riff, dun 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 dun, dun. That's when they start going. So.
Yep. You got to just take that drumstick and wave it around, just like, you know what time it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I point out them and I said, "Let's go."
That's killer, dude. Have you done anything besides drums?
Yes, I'm a vocalist in. I mentioned a second ago, Asylum. That's another project that's close to my heart because I've been doing that since like 2012. Yeah, so I do vocals in that. That's more of a technical death metal, and yeah, I go back and forth between lows and highs. Oh god, I haven't warmed it up at all, so that sounded like ass. But yeah,
That's okay.
So I love being a vocalist. Drumming's great, but vocals allow me to be a madman up there and jump around. And in Asylum, I usually, as of a few years ago, I start out in a straitjacket and I burst out of it.
Oh, wow.
And and my nickname is the Professional Madman. And I love doing vocals. I'm good at commanding the crowd. I'm good at stage banter. I'm good at all that stuff. So I do that. I do it in Asylum. I do it in a band called Coprolalia, which is more like slamming, brutal death metal. Just lots of breakdowns and slams. Good for the pitting, like we were talking about earlier.
Kind of like internal bleeding and pyrexia, I take it.
Yes, very, very internal bleeding-esque. And in that one, I focus more on the lows, and then even some of the pig squeal type crap, not too much of that, but a little bit here and there is fun to throw in.
Yeah, your vocals sound better than mine right now.
And then like we said at the beginning, slew of bands here. So there's one more band I do vocals in, Lucifer Invictus. We just finished, and that's more kind of straight black metal or blackened death metal. And we just finished recording an EP, and we had a viral video a couple weeks ago because we had this uber normie Christian lady at our show, and she was not a fan of our lyrical themes, and so she started. Here, let me set my phone where you can see that. She started like holding up a cross and shaking her head in disapproval. She was just like so appalled at us, and that was caught on video. And so I posted it on Facebook, and that went viral. So that was a cool thing to happen to Lucifer Invictus recently.
I'll have to check that out myself,
Yeah, I'll make sure to send you a link after this because it's wild. We made shirts of it and everything.
I totally dig it. I was going to ask you as well. You're talking about Chicago Domination Fest. What was that like?
Oh man, we played that last July, last summer. Astyanax did, and I'd been trying to get on that for a few years. And that's a sought after festival. People want to play that, so there was like a waiting list of years. And then when we finally got on, guess what happened? COVID.
Oh yeah, that's something I don't like talking about, but
yeah, that happened. And then the next year like the venue shut down or something. So it was like delayed 2 more years. Then we finally got to play it last year, and that was great. You know, they had bands like Pyrexia that you mentioned earlier, Stabbing, which is a band that has taken off lately, Reviled, um, what's his name? Sean Whitaker was on there. You had Lust of Decay, all these like legendary underground, brutal, slamming death metal bands. We played day 3. We were second that day, and we played at like 3:30. And you're thinking, oh man, 3:30 in the afternoon, that's gonna suck. No, there was already like 100 people by the time we played at 3:30 in the afternoon. And but then once it got to night, it was like 300, 400 people. It was a great event. Miguel, who puts it together, does a great job. And, you know, we got to hobnob with all these musicians that we've looked up to. We got to hobnob with death metal labels and get our CD out there. It was a huge experience. Oh, and in Chicago, we got to, you know, finally try like deep dish pizza and crap like that. So it was awesome, man.
That's awesome, dude. How did you guys come up with that name, Astyanax? I know it's a video game for regular Nintendo.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of people know about that video game, and I have a copy of that somewhere like displayed because, you know, I'm proud of that. But where it really came from was this old mythology story where this baby the baby's name was Astyanax, and there was a prophecy that he was going to, oh man, it's been a while since I told this story, but the prophecy was that he was going to grow up to kill someone. And this story involved the Prince Hector of Troy. I don't remember if he was going to kill Hector of Troy or what, but if you're listening to this interview, if you just look it up, you can find the better details. But what drew us to it was, so he was prophesied to kill someone, so that someone was like, okay, I got to kill this baby before he grows up. Whoops, sorry about that. I got to kill this baby before he grows up to displace me. So there's 2 versions of the story. In one, the baby Astyanax is thrown off a cliff. And then in another version of the story, the baby Astyanax, while still alive, is used as like a live human club to beat someone.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Right? So back in 2010, we're just like, ooh, brutal dead babies. We got to use that, you know?
You know, it's actually kind of funny you say that because if you're going to use a baby as a club, you know, that's a real headbanger right there.
Zing. Yes. Yes.
No pun intended, but maybe pun intended. Who knows?
Maybe just a little intended. Yeah. It's just fun because that name is always understandably it's always struggled to pronounce by people. So we get everything from from Astyanax to Astyanax to Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Yeah.
I could only imagine what that's like.
Yeah. So we're just like we accept it at this point, and it's just like part of our gag.
You know, it kind of reminds me when I was interviewing Parody Boot last week, and he told this guy that I was interviewing named Matthias, he told me that some people called them party board before. I'm like, party board? Is that like Monopoly or the game of life? Or Clue? I mean, come on, man. Party board? That doesn't really make much sense, but I've heard of party cannon.
Yeah, Party Cannon. There's another fun slam band there for you.
It's such an odd name, party cannon. What the hell's a party cannon? Is it one of those popper things like those champagne bottles that blow confetti out?
I wish I could tell you, but I know those. I'll tell you, those guys know how to party. They're goofy.
I guess there's a party in someone's cannon tonight.
Oh, you got the zingers going right now, man.
I could only imagine if somebody walked up and said, "Hey, is your name called Party Colon? Is there a party in your colon?" You know, that'd be weird. I mean, I don't know if that would make any sense to the natural person, but at the same time, who knows, man? Anything's possible these days.
Yeah, we're metalheads. We like to make the nonsensical into normalcy.
What guitar tuning do you guys play in?
Let's see. It varies from band to band. I believe Astyanax is in B standard, and um Copalalia is a little lower, I believe. And then like Asylum, it kind of depends on the song. Some songs are written in standard, some songs are written in a drop tuning. So it's kind of all over the place. I'll be honest, as a drummer and a vocalist, I don't know much about guitar. I can play one riff, I can play Smoke on the Water badly. So I leave that to them. Uh, I'm lucky to be surrounded by a lot of talented guitarists and talented songwriters. I'm kind of the I guess like a manager mindset, a business mindset, promotional guy. I'm always pushing, 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 and kind of trying to be that leader. Uh, and they bring, and I'm creative. Don't get me wrong, but as far as songwriting and talent and a lot of talent, I really lean on my guitarist. I'm lucky. I got some shredders in there, man.
That's awesome, dude. You were talking a little while back about being a high school English teacher.
Yeah.
What's that like? I mean, do you get a lot of critique for having long hair and being a teacher?
Well, as the years have gone on, more and more different things are accepted, and it's not really even an issue anymore. But I still do what I did from day one, which is that it was like an unspoken rule to just have it back in a ponytail, to dress professionally, keep this beard not too crazy. Um, just try to look professional. I haven't gotten much flack for that in my profession. Uh, Now I have gotten flack in the past for some of my band's content, so I had to kind of make my social media a little more private and be a little more vague with talking to my students. It's like, yeah, I'm just a musician. Let's just say that I'm just a musician. 'Cause I used to try to like be different and connect with them. Like, yeah, I play death metal, and just they thought it was fascinating. But then they see like blasphemous goat vomit. Oh no, not my Johnny boy.
That's funny. I've been listening to death metal since I was like a teenager, and one of the first bands that I heard was called Mortification. I'm not sure if you remember that band from Australia.
Mortification. No, I'm not as familiar with that one. I'm gonna have to go look them up after this now.
Yeah, look up the album called Scrolls of the Megaloth. They were basically a Christian death metal band, so they used, scriptural references for like their lyrical content. They were on Intense Records, which was basically Bob Beeman. He's a pastor who started Sanctuary International and also started Intense Records. But I'm not sure if Intense Records is still around or not. But they're pretty
Man,
interesting.
that sounds cool. I love old school death metal. That's kind of like my bread and butter. So that just sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, that album right there, I don't think it has any guitar solos in it because it was from 1992, kind of like, near the beginning of death metal, which was basically like 88, 89, and then 90.
Yeah.
And then it just escalated after that. And now there's like so many bands, it's hard to keep up with all of them.
Oh yeah, the it feels like everyone and their mom is playing death metal now, whether and it's various subgenres, and it's just popping off right now, and it's interesting. Old school death metal is kind of making a comeback right now, but it's like old school death metal infused with this kind of hardcore mindset, and you're seeing bands like Frozen Soul take off, and uh, not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but I think it's like Sanguinisa Bog, and seeing more and more bands play that caveman riff style, old school death metal in the vein of like Bolt Thrower and Mortician, and it's cool to see. But like you said, there's so many bands, it's hard to keep up with, and it's hard to stand out. You have us bands have a much taller task to stand out amongst the many, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like my friend Brendan Jackson. He's got his own one-man band project called Fetal Involvement, and he's also helping me with mine called Nightmare Crypt. And basically, I combine 5 different elements of music into the music that we're both writing. So there's some intros and outros that are atmospheric, and then you got some songs that sound thrashy. Some sound like death metal, some sound like black metal, and some sound hardcore. So all those 5 elements into one is pretty crazy. You know, it makes the mind just think like, what's going to happen next? Is he going to do a sweep pattern technique? Nope. Just simple chords and brutality. That's all it takes for me.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds like a nice little hybrid there. It's kind of what we do in Asylum. You know, we take, dang it, we take little bits of all the genres we love. So you got some black metal in there, you got some death metal, you got some technical death metal, you have neoclassical elements, you have old school elements. So it's almost hard to classify Asylum. I say at our core, we're just death metal, but we're kind of a hybrid like that. And I think that's cool because I love so many things about metal. You know, I'm not one of these guys who's like, death metal, everything else sucks, or no, only black metal is true. I like all, I like
A little Norwegian accent there, maybe a little Scandinavian.
yeah. This you only true satanic cult black metals.
Yeah, that does sound kind of foreign a little bit.
Yeah, but there's just so much to offer, man. I can I only genres I haven't really been able to get into much are like metalcore and deathcore, but even deathcore, you know, I was able to find a band I dig recently, and I'm gonna draw a blank, of course, on the spot. Oh my god, what is that band called? They they just came out with new stuff. Oh, Mental Cruelty. Mental Cruelty. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
they're pretty badass. I like those guys.
Yeah.
Same with
So,
General Surgery and Short Bus Pile Up. I'm not sure if
ooh,
you're familiar with those names.
I've heard that Short Bus Pilot, but I've never listened to them. And just you saying that just intrigues me. I want to go. I want to go listen to that. I gotta go check
They're
that out.
awesome, dude. They are awesome. They're one of my favorites by far.
Heck yeah.
And also Soprogenius. You ever hear of those guys?
Mm-mm.
Well, they're a band from Wichita, Kansas. They're basically slam and also death metal. And I'd like to give a shout out to Chevy Eastern, Ted Bay. You guys are fucking sick. Keep up the great work.
Oh wait. Oh, dude, I didn't even realize what you were saying. Soprogenitus. Yes. Duh. Yes, I know them. I have those guys friended on Facebook, and I saw them play at Gordon Heart of Texas this past summer. Yes. Yeah. They ripped up that stage, man. They slammed.
Yeah, I got to interview Ted and Chevy 2 separate times, and hopefully one of these days I can get the whole band involved and be like, okay, cool. Now I can ask more questions.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I feel dumb. Yeah. Um, they were good. They were great, and they're really cool guys. And we interact a decent amount on Facebook. I don't think we've had a chance to talk in person, but um, I really dig their sound.
Yeah, they really do have something going for them. It's a little fuzzy sounding sometimes when you listen to the CD, but that's okay. It just adds more character to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Little rawness to it.
Kind of like these guys, Napalm Death. You know, I see you're wearing Carcass. This is the Nazi Punks Fuck Off t-shirt.
Nice. Yeah. I saw Carcass a few weeks ago when they came through, and with Municipal Waste and Sacred Reich, and that was a really good show.
Yeah, I missed out on that tour. The last show I went to was back in March. I got to see Crisian, Vader, and Decrepit Birth.
See, I missed that one. I would have loved to see that. I love Vader, especially. Decrepit Birth's always great. Last night I was at Obituary and Immolation and Blood Incantation, and it had been years since I'd seen Obituary, and I got in the pit a little bit. I don't get in the pit as much these days. I got in the pit a little bit. It was great.
That's awesome. I got a few more questions here for you, Colby.
Sure.
What would you say is the fastest beats per minute that you can do on drums? Like the fastest blast?
Good question. Well, if you listen to the Astyanax song Crucifisterectomy, say that 3 times fast.
Your time.
It was the first single we released off our latest album back in 2021, Extreme Antinatalist Design. Anyways, that first riff, that's at 260 BPM, and that pushed me at the time to get faster and more consistent at higher BPMs like that. So I would say consistently right around 260 is probably my wheelhouse, but I am working my way up to the 280 range. I've been working on the push pull technique with my hands, been working on the swivel technique with my feet, so I can really get up there and push myself for this next album that we're writing.
You know, speaking of the swivel technique, the first time I ever seen a drummer do that was George Colias with Nile back in 06 during the Annihilation of the Wicked tour. I just seen his feet going back and forth like this. I look at my friend, I'm like, yo, Carmine, look at that, dude. His feet are swiveling. He's like, what the fuck? Is he going 400 beats per minute? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to enjoy the show. So I threw my horns up in the air. Church.
Colias is a freaking machine, man. It's incredible to watch him every time.
Yeah, both him and Lord Marco. Lord Marco, as you probably know, is with Brain Drill.
Yes, yeah. Lord Marco is one of those guys who looks like when he's playing, it looks like he's on fast forward, man. It's just ridiculous. And then, and who's the other guy that I had on to my tongue? Dominator, the Dark Funeral, the old Dark Funeral drummer. Just those guys look like they are being fast forwarded. It's amazing.
I'm pretty sure they could go up to 400 beats per minute.
I would not put it past them, man. Heck yeah.
That's like super hyper speed.
Yeah, that's like ludicrous speed.
That's right. Spaceballs reference.
Yes. Good catch.
Excellent movie. How many assholes do we have on board anyhow? Yo!
Love that freaking.
My favorite part is when they're trying to comb the desert. Hey, how about you guys? We ain't found shit. You know, you guys should use that clip for one of your songs. I could only imagine.
Oh yeah, dude. Especially Copra Lolly on my slam band. We love to use samples and stuff. So that's a really good idea. I need to get that. I need to get a Spaceballs clip in there, man.
Yeah, you could either download it or just get out the DVD and just hit record on your recorder and you're all set, man.
Yeah. You went over my helmet?
I like the part where Rick Moranis' character, Dark Helmet just flies right into the, motherboard of the ship.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Smoke if you got him.
Classic, dude. Classic.
Let me ask you this question. I haven't asked anybody this yet, but what's the worst thing about being a musician?
Oh, man. Golly, that. I won't lie. I've been grinding away at this for 13 years. I know a lot of musicians have been doing it a lot longer. I'm not saying like 13 years is just so much, but I am starting to feel feel a little burnt out. I think burnout is a real thing as a with anything, obviously, but as a musician, you know, it's important to make time for yourself and get away from music sometimes. It can really start to wear on you. And the scene lately just isn't, at least around here in Dallas Fort Worth, Texas, is just not what it was before the pandemic. um the crowd, the turnouts, at least at the local shows, aren't what they used to be. So that can get kind of discouraging. It can be hard to look out there and see, oh man, I'm playing to 20 people or less. I appreciate the hell out of those 20 people, and I try to be grateful, but you get to the point where you're like, man, you just wonder, are you just kind of spinning your wheels in one spot here? Are you progressing? So I think the worst part is it's just the mental game of staying grateful for the people who are there and not getting too burnt out, not getting too discouraged. I guess that would be my answer.
That's awesome. What would you say to a person who's just starting out on drums?
Oh man, that's easy. Don't do what I did. Don't sit down and start trying to blast and just be a sloppy, terrible mess. Um, start slow, and start with a freaking metronome, man. I did not do that. Start with a metronome, start slow, walk before you can run. Get those slow, basic tempos down before get your quarter notes down before your eighth notes, get your eighth notes down before your 16ths, and slowly work your way up, and you will be so thankful to yourself, and you'll be so much cleaner.
No, we were talking about subgenres earlier and how much we don't like deathcore music too much. Could you imagine if somebody were to take blues and mix it with black metal and thrash and death metal? I think it would be called bluesy, brutal, black and thrash death metal.
We're losing our minds here. What is going on?
I mean, there's some bands that have done some blues stuff inside their music before, like Death,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you listen to Chuck's riffs, that dude was like a mastermind.
Oh, dude, Death is a top 5 band for me of all time. I got to see that Death to All tour when it came through a couple months ago, and they do a good job of honoring Chuck. Man, Chuck was a genius. He was a genius.
Very phenomenal guitarist. One of my favorites by far.
Yeah. Every album was different, but still like timeless, and just laid the foundation so many ways for death metal.
If you could get one band back together, who would it be?
Goodness.
That's another question I've never asked before.
Isn't Bolt Thrower broken up? I'm 99% sure they are. And
that I'm not certain about.
Well, I think they are, and if so, that I would want them back. That they're a huge influence on Astyanax. Bolt Thrower. I'm not gonna say Slayer, I kind of want to, because they've only been gone for a very short amount of time. But yeah, I would say Bolt Thrower.
That's cool. I would say Bolt Thrower as well, and also the band called Zyklon.
Zyklon, never heard of them.
Yeah, they were from, I believe, Norway, and they were kind of like a little bit of black metal and also death metal influence.
Cool. Heck yeah.
This is their symbol right here. I'm not sure if you can see it too well. Kind of fuzzy because I got the thing going on, fuzz factor.
Oh, cool. Almost like a throwing star kind of, but like curved.
Yeah, it's basically known as the Circle of Chaos.
Nice.
So when I got this tattoo done, the guy did it backwards. I'm like, am I supposed to listen to music in reverse now or something?
Yes, yes. Listen reverse so you can hear all the hidden messages about Satan.
Yeah, kind of like Led Zeppelin's song called Stairway to Heaven. You listen to that backwards, it says something kind of
Oh
strange.
yeah, yeah. I think it says like "My sweet Satan" or something.
Yep. It's kind of crazy, listen to music backwards sometimes. Some people actually do it.
Yeah, yeah. And you wonder, coincidence?
It's very possible. It's kind of like when Carmine and I took him his Cyanide CD and we listened to it backwards, and it sounded so hilarious. I looked at him, I'm like, did Joe just scream something about toilet paper? He's like, he probably did. I'm like, dude, rewind that and play it again in reverse. So we did it again in here. Toilet paper. I'm like, he did say toilet paper. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Because he likes toilet humor. Sorry, Joe. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I got a couple minutes here left with you, Colby, and I
Okay.
was going to ask you this. Name your top 5 favorite death metal bands.
Okay. We mentioned death. Um, they're a slight second to Cannibal Corpse, and I feel like I almost feel like, oh, that's such an easy one to say, but I mean, it's Cannibal Corpse, man. They are the biggest death metal band in the world for a reason. Haven't had a bad album. On my battle vest, I've got like almost a patch for almost every album on there. They they're a huge influence. Both vocalists, I loved both vocalists. Um, Dying Fetus, they are the kings of dynamic tempo changes, going from shreddy like arpeggios and stuff into straight into slams. And every time I see them live, they're like machines. They're amazing. Jungle Rot. I love Jungle Rot. Some people talk trash on them, and I don't get it. People say they're like too cookie cutter or just simple, but in some cases, less is more. And Jungle Rot, they are the kings of the old school death metal groove, and I love it. And number 5, that's where it gets a little more tricky. Oh, no, it's not tricky. Malevolent Creation. Malevolent Creation's the first death metal band that I really got into. Like when I was first kind of getting into it, I was like, "Oh, Cannibal Corpse is kind of scary. They have these, terrible song titles. Oh, Deicide's kind of scary." More.
Morbid Angel, before we got cut off.
Oh yeah, I was just saying those. Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, Deicide. As a high schooler just getting into this stuff, I'm like, these guys have some kind of scary themes. Obviously, I eventually quickly got over that, but Malevolent Creation was just like, death metal about death. And I remember a certain song, "To Die Is at Hand," really stood out because it just had this like chorus going, "You will die." And I was like, oh my God, that's brutal. And so Malevolent Creation rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, I love Malevolent Creation, especially when Rob Barrett was in the band.
Oh
During the
yeah.
album called The Will to Kill, or
Yeah.
The Art of Murder, something like that. I think it was The
Oh,
Art of Murder. That album right there just rips, dude.
dude, that's my favorite album, and it's like it's less talked about than other albums. You know, uh, it kind of gets overshadowed sometimes. That's a great freaking album.
It's funny that you say that's your favorite one, because that happens to be my personal favorite too, because that death metal ballad at the end is just so heartbreaking. It makes you cry a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think it's Day of Suffering or something like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, "To Die Is at Hand" was like the first death metal song that I got into. So that album in particular just has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, with me, it was a combination of listening to Nocturnal by Mortification and then listening to the song Satan Spawn the Caco Demon by Deicide in school. And I'm just like, well, one's
Yeah.
Christian, one's Satan. I like them both equally. I can't just pick one, because I always have an open mind when it comes to music, because one day it could be, pop music like Electric Light Orchestra. or it could
Mhm.
or it could be Michael Jackson. Rest in peace, Tina Turner. I could listen to her. I could listen to anybody really and enjoy it. But if I don't like it, I'm just gonna get rid of it.
Yeah, same here, man. I mean, before I ever got into metal, I grew up on oldies rock and roll, and I'm talking 50s and 60s oldies. My dad was a singer, actor, dancer in musicals, talking like Broadway musicals. So I'm a fan of the older Broadway musicals. Um, some classic rock, some old school rap. You know, I, it's good to have diversity in your music taste.
Absolutely, man. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time. So just make music and you'll be pissed off even more because that way you can get rid of that negative energy and make something positive out of it.
Boom. That death metal, if nothing else, is my escape from reality and my ability to, you know, it's catharsis. It's cathartic.
Yeah, and go swimming, go fishing, find something to do if you can't find anything to do. There's always something to do. And it takes so much energy out of somebody to say the two words, I'm bored.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever people say that, I'm just like, you need to go out and find a hobby.
Yeah. And it's funny when people misspell the word board as in BOARD. Like, are you a surfboard, a skateboard, a running board, an
Oh,
ironing
that's
board?
well, that's just
Unboard yourself. Yeah,
teacher. As an English teacher, that's just cringe for me. People, yeah, mixing up words like that, mixing up the theirs, mixing up the yours. Oh, don't get me started.
IORE. How you like that one? Your.
uh, don't get me started. Freaking, you are for your and you, letter U for you, and all the text speech, all the um, text acronyms being when I see that in someone actually trying to do an academic essay and they're using the text acronyms, it's like, oh, what is the world coming to?
Almost binary code, I would say, 101110001111.
Yeah. let's just go to Morse code while we're at it.
Yeah, I mean, I basically did that on my guitar a few nights ago. I'm just sitting there playing my guitar, going open note, open string, first fret, going back and forth at it, like, okay, this is what binary code sounds like. It's like,
Yeah.
why do people do that? I mean, Fear Factory did it for a long time. Don't get me wrong. I love their music ever since I heard them first with Soul of a New Machine.
Oh
But
yeah.
some of their newer stuff to me is kind of hit and miss. But the album that I liked a lot by them, which was kind of recent, back in 2015, Genexus, that album right there hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, Fear Factory, to be honest, is one I haven't delved into as much as I should, but I've been seeing more and more people posting about them, talking about them. Now you're talking about them. I think I need to give them more of a chance. I never disliked anything. I just industrial music is something, industrial metal, I should say, something that never really drew me in. But
Yeah, when Raymond Herrera was on drums with them, he was a machine gun, man.
heck
Especially in the
yeah.
album Demanufactured, because the song called Zero Signals actually in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, is it nice?
Yeah, that part where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are fighting on the bridge? Maybe it's not Sub-Zero, I forget exactly who Scorpion's fighting. But if you listen to the music in the background, that's the song Zero Signal.
Heck yeah.
Just
Classic.
breakdown part. I'm just like, dude, they put Fear Factory in a fighting movie. That's fucking sweet.
Love hearing the metal music and mainstream stuff, man.
Absolutely. It's amazing how you can have Cannibal Corpse and Ace Ventura, then you have Fear Factory and Mortal Kombat, and I'm thinking, wait a minute,
Oh,
how did that happen? When I was talking to Paul about Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, I said to him, what was like being on the set? He's like, well, it was awesome, dude. Jim's a funny guy.
That's a classic scene. I love that. I love that movie. I love that scene. And I forget who Jim Carrey was getting interviewed by, but he talks about napalm death. And,
Oh, that was Arsenio Hall.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Jim Carrey liked him some freaking death metal, man.
It's kind of funny because I've been watching that video nonstop where he's talking about Arsenio. He's like, you know, someday this guy's going to settle down and do some duets. You don't bring me flowers. I gotta admit though, he did a great job trying to sound like Barney.
Right?
Or Dorian. I mean, who else but Jim Carrey making all these contortionist type faces, looking like, you know, Clint Eastwood or Jack Nicholson for that matter. I'm just like, how does this guy do that? It's crazy, man. He's just
he's one of them.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. I'll just say, yeah, Jim Carrey is one of a kind, man. I love all of his stuff almost.
Yeah, I hope to meet the guy someday in person. Just like, you're one of my favorite actors of all time, besides Jack Nicholson.
Oh, Jack Nicholson can't go wrong with The Shining.
Oh, dude, that movie's how old is that movie today? It's like it's the anniversary. I know that.
Well, it was somewhere in the 70s. I know that.
So it's pretty close to however old I am. I'm going to be pushing 45 next year. I'm actually looking forward to it because every year's like a stepping stone to me, like another chapter in life.
Heck
so
yeah, that's how you should. Yeah, I just turned 33 in March, and I'm seeing it as I'm in my prime. You know, so.
I could only imagine if you were to go to your school with a clean shave, people probably wouldn't recognize you. They'd be like, "Are you Colby?" You'd be like, "Yeah, it's me." Like, no, you're not. Who are you? What do you do with Colby?
Yeah, I shaved everything like last year for a try, and I looked so odd and baby faced, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And I haven't, I've been growing my hair out since 9th grade, so that's what 13, 16. That's like almost 20 years I've been growing my hair out, so I don't foresee myself going conservative with the hair anytime soon.
You just like to push the envelope as much as possible, I take it.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't want to say it's part of my identity, but I do take pride in this, in the metalhead look, as some people think that's corny and cliche and they roll their eyes at it and they say, but ever since I started, I've heard, oh, it's just a phase. You'll grow out of it. Oh, I never did. Never grew out of it. I like this look. Screw you.
I've always told people, do what makes you happy.
Yes. Yes, and that's why I play metal. Like earlier I talked a little bit about burnout and things. That is something I've been going through, but at the end of the day, this music, it lights a fire in me that is hard to quantify. It's truly euphoric when you're up on that stage and you hit a slam or something. You see the people out there going nuts. It's nothing like it. So this truly does make me happy.
That's awesome. What's the biggest crowd that you've ever played in front of?
Well, last summer we opened for Suffocation when they came through, and that was definitely one of them. That was 200 to 300 people. And we opened for Dying Fetus many years back, and that was around 300 people. So I'd say somewhere in that ballpark of 300 to 400 people. I hope to surpass that sooner than later, but it's still a pretty awesome number of people to look out there and see digging your music,
That's awesome, dude. Most definitely awesome.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
my
you know, it's
support the whole way.
hmm,
You've got my support the whole way.
I appreciate it. You know, it's hard to with our kind of more underground brutal death metal. It's hard to play stadiums and stuff. I never say never. Don't get me wrong, but I appreciate every time I can look out there and see a great crowd, see people headbanging, see people moshing, and people want pictures with me and will buy merch and see my people wearing my merch, and is in this the community of metal is a great thing.
Absolutely. It changes people's lives either for the better or maybe for the worse. It all depends on who's listening, how they
Absolutely.
perceive it. You know, it can be a positive thing or it could be negative. I mean, there's a little bit of both, really.
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast, the nature of life, really, the duality of life. But I see it. I think it is what you make of it at the end of the day, and you know it can be and it should be a great way, like we talked about earlier, to channel things and you know to to have an outlet.
Absolutely. Everybody needs something to have to go to, basically, whether it's music or if it's a movie or whatever. Even reading a book, you know, that helps come up with creativity too.
Absolutely. I'm currently reading The Hellbound Heart, which is what Hellraiser's based off of. So
Oh, no shit. I had no idea.
yeah. Oh, it's great. It's a quick little read, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's awesome.
I'll definitely have to check that one out. I don't read too often, but I like to read every now and again.
Yeah, I don't read as much as I used to, but I obviously do. Being an English teacher, I do enjoy it. It's just about finding time and not being exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody needs their rest for sure. I got a few more questions here for you, Colby. My
Okay.
next question for you is, do you guys have any upcoming shows?
Yes. Excuse me. Let's see. Well, the next Astyanax show is, because I mentioned that we played Chicago last summer and I went to Gord. Well, the other there's like a trio of brutal death fests, the third one being Slam Dakota. So we're playing Slam Dakota here in a couple weeks on June 9th. We're playing that in South Dakota. Astyanax is. It's a 2-day festival headlined by bands like Pyrexia once again, and Bludgeon and Summoning the Lich, and bands like that. So I'm excited to go on the road with my boys up to South Dakota. Never been there, and play Slam Dakota. What else? Oh, this Saturday got a CD release show for. I think the only band I didn't mention yet, Nocturnal Wolf. It's black metal. Drum in that one. We have a CD release show this Saturday at Haltom Theater here in Fort Worth, and my slam band that I mentioned, Coprolali, is also playing that show, so I'm doing double duty. And then next Thursday, Blasphemous Goat Vomit is playing in Arlington for the first time at a place called Sunshine Bar. Never been there, and so we're playing that to celebrate our friend Parker Turney's birthday. And Deflowered is on that, and a band from Corpus Christi called Throat Locust is on that. So those are the next three.
That's amazing. Have you ever done double duty drumming before?
Yeah, I've done it a few times. I try not to do it too often. It's pretty difficult. I've done double duty drumming. I've done double duty where in one band I did vocals and the other band I do drumming. It's not something I want to make a habit out of, but I'll do it here and there.
Yeah, you were talking about running around on the stage before when you have your vocal project, when you're doing the vocals. How would you compare yourself to Mick Jagger, who's in his 70s with the Rolling Stones, running around like a high schooler? You think he's got more energy than you do, or do you think you've got more than he does?
Yeah, I don't know that many people have more energy than me. That's one thing I've gotten spades as a front man is energy. I'll jump around like a lunatic and I'll contort and I'll roll my eyes into the back of my head and and I'm a like much like a corpse grinder. I love to do a good fast windmill headbang. Um, like I said, I'll burst out of a straitjacket when I'm doing it with Asylum. My last name being Rodgers. One time, a girl gave me like a cardigan, Mr. Rogers neighborhood-esque sweater, and I wore that for a Coprolalia set. I'll do anything and everything up there. I'm a maniac. So
Just don't pull a Gigi Allen move, man. Whatever you do.
no, I draw the line there.
Yeah, that dude was just nasty, man. Throwing feces at the crowd, purposely taking laxatives before a show, just so he could do that. Like, that's fucked up,
Yeah,
man. Who does that? Gigi
he's
Allen?
got me beat.
Yeah, he was something else, man. I'll tell you. Not my favorite person on the planet, but that's okay.
Yeah, he knew how to stand out, I guess.
Yeah, you can say that again. That's crazy. There any countries that you've never have you ever toured that you would like to go back to? Like say South
I
America?
haven't gotten to go to another country for music yet. I've played a lot of states in the U.S. Because I've gone on multiple tours with Asylum, East Coast and West Coast. But this summer, in fact, I just got in the mail today my passport because I knew that this summer, Blasphemous Goat Vomit and Nocturnal Wolf are going to do a little tour in Mexico, central Mexico. So this will be my first time to play in another country, albeit a neighboring country. I get to play in another country, and they really appreciate black metal in Mexico. I'm really excited. We're playing in Mexico City, Guadalajara. There's like 5 dates, I think. And so I got the passport today. So now I know it's feeling official here. I'm really excited.
I hope you guys have a wonderful time and a safe travel back and forth.
Yeah, I at first I was a little nervous about, you know, crime and such, but our guitarist in Nocturnal Wolf, who's kind of setting up the whole thing. He's got family down there. He's a, you know, he's Mexican himself. So I think he's gonna help us navigate safely. Is I guess what I'm saying.
That's awesome, dude. That is totally
Yeah.
awesome. Don't forget the GPS.
No, that's one thing I'll never forget. That's like my lifeline for travel.
That's excellent, man. Well, I got a couple more questions for you, Colby, and then that should be it. What would you like to say to your fans?
My fans are literally my lifeline in this business. Y'all are why I do this. I mean, I I I started out for the love of music, but it feels and I wanna do it because I like it and because it makes me happy, but it feels somewhat meaningless if I don't look out there and see other people enjoying it, and if I don't see people buying merch and wearing our merch. That's one of the ultimate forms of validation, and the passion of the fans is what metal's all about. The like we've been talking about, the mosh pit, the energy of it, to see y'all out there headbanging, supporting us. I feel like we are somewhat nothing without our fans. So just thank you. Thanks to all of you. I got even last night at the obituary show, a guy recognized me from Blasphemous Goat Vomit and Lucifer Invictus and wanted a picture with me and just told me what a big fan he is. And that always that still to this day just warms my heart runs shivers down my spine. It's special. It's truly special.
Yeah, that's definitely a humbling moment for sure.
Yes. It's surreal. It's surreal is what it is. And I will always have time for my fans, and I do this for them in large part.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, man. Just keep it going. Don't give up.
I appreciate it. Like I said, there's been burnout, so giving up is a thought that flickers across my mind here and there. But at the end of the day, when something like that happens, like last night, and little things like that, they always, reawaken me to why I'm doing this, and to that, I can't stop. There's just too much of a beautiful energy to this to stop.
Absolutely, man. Well, I got 2 more questions for you, Colby.
Okay.
What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen happen while performing live?
Golly.
I've seen a lot of crazy shit myself, actually. So
I'm scanning my brain. Well, I can tell you a funny thing that's happened to me. I'll just give you a few funny memories that pop into my mind. First off, like I said, I like to windmill when I'm up there like corpse grinder, and when you're on a small confined stage, sometimes that can present issues. And I've gotten my hair caught in my guitarist's headstock multiple times, and I'm doing vocals while my hair is stuck. I'm just like trying to keep doing the vocals and get my hair undone. A couple times I've had to like rip it out. That always sucks. And
that's painful just thinking about it.
Yeah. And recently, my Blasphemous Goat Vomit was playing a show. My guitarist stops playing, so I'm like, okay, it's technical difficulties. It's whatever. And me and the bassist, we finished it out. We did what we were supposed to do. We just kept going to finish it out. And then I forgot that I had a backup vocal mic. That even though I was drumming, I do backup vocals in Blasphemous Goat Vomit. And he goes off stage. He comes back with a cord, and I'm like, was it your wireless? Because he was just trying his wireless for the first time, and I thought it was harmless at the time, but now it's become this running joke because apparently that like went through the backup mic and just like echoed to the audience. So your wireless?
Damn.
So now, anytime there's like a technical difficulty or anything, we just have a running gag. See your wireless? Wireless?
Well, if I ever see you guys live, I'll ask them, "Where's your wireless at?"
Yes, please do.
He'll probably look at me like, "How'd you hear about that?" Because I'm friends with Colby.
Oh, that would be priceless.
He would probably look at you and be like, "Damn it, Colby! Damn it, Damage!"
Pretty much verbatim. Yeah.
I can only hear it now. Damage, Damage. I've heard so many people saying that lately. I'm thinking, quit stealing people's lines, man. Damage. I guess life is what you make of it, more or less, really.
Right.
Well, Colby, my last question for you is, do you have any last words for Underground Noise Webzine?
Just I appreciate you having me on. I love to talk about this. This has been like my singular driving passion for, as I said earlier, like 13 years. And so I love talking with people about this, and I love supporting, channels like this, and because channels like this support the underground. And so if y'all are watching this and y'all haven't subscribed, please do that. Support this channel. This is channels like this are what keep the underground, keep metal alive. And so I was happy to be a part of this today.
Awesome, Colby. You're most welcome, dude. Thank you for your time as well today. It's been fun.
It was honestly my pleasure.
That's awesome, dude. Cool beans and collard greens. Everybody keep your horns up for metal and rock, and if you're not doing it that way, you're doing it wrong. Stop listening to Limp Bizkit. That band sucks. I will say it till the day I die. Not that I'm trying to talk shit about everybody, just that band in particular.
I will not disagree with you there, sir.
Right on.